I'm proud of our fight, the toughness that we showed, our ability to stay together. Our bench was really engaged in every timeout and in every huddle. We were all engaged.
6 records shattered. 1 point short. That was the gut-wrenching reality Caitlin Clark faced after a monster performance against the Atlanta Dream. The scoreboard read 91-90, a heartbreaking loss, but the history books? They were getting rewritten in real time. Books were being rewritten in real time.
Themselves into a early hole here. Clark.
You're about to ride the emotional roller coaster that was Clark's night in Atlanta, a game filled with controversial officiating that even had her boyfriend firing off tweets, and a historic stat line that crushed records set by legends. One record? Clark destroyed Sabrina Ionescu's mark. Another? Took Courtney Vandersloot nearly 400 games to reach. Clark? Just 42. Comment fired up for the fever below if you're still rocking with this team despite the stinging defeat. Port, even after a heartbreaking loss. Let's go!
This stinks. We want to win this game. But, I think this is great for our team. A little adversity. How are we going to respond? How are we going to come in here tomorrow morning and watch the film and learn and get on the court and get better? And like I said, that's why this league is so great. You have a couple days and then you get right back to it. You find a way to respond. We have a chance to go there.
What if one of the greatest individual performances in WNBA history still wasn't enough to secure a win? That's exactly what happened. In a game that came down to the wire, Caitlin Clark and the Fever lost by a single point to the Atlanta Dream, despite a record-breaking night from their young star. Just 1 point, that's all that stood between Caitlin Clark and pairing a historic, record-breaking night with a team victory.
I give my team a lot of credit, my teammates a lot of credit. We never gave up. We fought.
The final 9.7 seconds told the story of heartbreak. Down by 1, Clark inbound to Natasha Howard. The play was drawn up for Aaliyah Boston, but the Dream shut that down. Howard got a clean look blocked. She snagged the rebound for a second shot, but the ball just wouldn't drop. So close, yet so far. Howard found an opening and took the shot, only to have it blocked by Nia Coffey. She fought for the rebound and got a second chance, but the ball simply wouldn't drop.
32 free throws. It's a lot of free throws. Going to be difficult to win a lot of games when we foul people that much and put them at the line that much. It's tough. I made 25 out of 30.
Free throws turned into silent assassins for Indiana. The Fever missed 10 shots from the line, going 16 for 26 in a game they lost by 1. Howard was 0 for 4 in the fourth quarter alone. Boston missed a crucial one late. Their grit was undeniable, battling back from double-digit deficits, but defensive inconsistency cost them dearly. Atlanta dropped 31 in the first quarter and 32 in the third. Coach Stephanie White didn't sugarcoat it, the defense simply wasn't good enough. 32 in the third, while the Fever held them to just 13 and 15 in the second and fourth. That up-and-down defense proved costly, and Coach Stephanie White didn't hold back when addressing the team's struggles on that end.
I didn't think we were disruptive at all. I felt like we let them move the ball wherever they wanted to. We had a lot of breakdowns in our coverages. We weren't really helping one another out. We played like 5 individuals defensively at times instead of collectively.
Atlanta's game plan to contain Clark worked just enough. They threw multiple defenders at her and pressured full court to throw her off rhythm. Dream coach Carl Smesko said it straight, "We just wanted to force them into tough shots, especially Clark." They threw multiple defenders at her and applied full court pressure to keep her out of rhythm. Dream head coach Carl Smesko explained, "We tried to keep it out of some people's hands, including Clark. We were just hoping to force them into taking a tough shot."
What was the plan defensively for the Fever's last possession of the game?
We just put a lineup up there that we thought could match up. We were gonna, if we need.
Inside, Indiana had no answer for Brittany Griner and Bonna Jones, who combined for a monstrous 40 points and 21 rebounds. Ryan Howard added 20 more with 4 bombs from beyond the arc. The Fever's chemistry is still under construction, defensive rotations broke down, help assignments weren't sharp, and the split-second decisions just weren't clicking. And then there was the elephant in the room, the officiating that had fans and Clark's boyfriend fuming. split-second reads that come with time just weren't there yet. And while we'll get to the record-breaking feats shortly, this loss stings even more because of something out of the player's hands entirely. Imagine giving it everything, breaking records left and right, only to watch the game slip away due to missed calls. That's what happened. Clark's frustration was written all over her face. Coach Stephanie White had to use both challenges before halftime on what she flat-out called missed calls. One was wasted on an out-of-bounds play that should have been obvious. It was that bad. Use both of her challenges before halftime, yes, both. She called the missed calls point blank, and one of those challenges was burned on a straightforward out-of-bounds play that should have been an easy whistle for the refs. Let that sink in.
Disruptive, whether that first half, the choppy waters, the stoppages like Caitlin was talking about, and you guys never really were able to get in the pace like you've been talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Clark's frustration only grew as the game wore on. She kept driving into contact. The whistles never came. Her arms flew up in disbelief after one no call after another. You could see her trying to stay composed as she pleaded with refs who clearly weren't listening. Contact, yet the whistle remained silent. Time and again, her arms shot up in disbelief after obvious no calls, the frustration visibly mounting with each missed opportunity. And then came the viral tweet. Clark's boyfriend, Connor McCaffrey, posted, "Good to see the W refs in mid-season form." Thousands of retweets later, fans and analysts alike piled on. The video evidence? Unavoidable. In one moment, Clark was clearly bumped on a three-point attempt, no whistle. No explanation. Just silence. As fans and analysts alike rallied behind the criticism. Video clips quickly surfaced, validating the outrage. Several plays showed Clark absorbing clear contact on drives with no whistle. In one blaring example, she was bumped while shooting a three-pointer, with obvious contact on the follow-through, yet the officials let it slide in silence.
The first half seemed pretty choppy with, the amount of fouls, the challenges. Just how did that affect you as the point guard and just the team's pace as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, to me, challenges cannot take that long. It ruins the flow of the game. I get it, it's early in the year, the refs want to make the right call. We can't sit there for 2.5, 3 minutes
And then came the viral tweet. Clark's boyfriend, Connor McCaffrey, posted, "Good to see the W refs in mid-season form." Thousands of retweets later, fans and analysts alike piled on. The video evidence? Unavoidable. In one moment, Clark was clearly bumped on a three-point attempt, no whistle. No explanation. Just silence. Big question is whether the WNBA will respond to these concerns as Clark continues to draw unprecedented attention to the league. A one-point loss with this many controversial calls certainly demands scrutiny. But amid the frustration, there's an incredible silver lining, a historic performance that rewrote the record books in ways no one expected.
Coach White is put in a position to have to use both.
While the final score showed a loss, the night was anything but ordinary. Caitlin Clark rewrote the WNBA record books in real time. In a single game, she didn't just set the bar, she demolished it, breaking 6 records and hitting 2 more major career milestones. This wasn't just impressive, it was historic. A performance that sets her apart as a generational talent. Though the scoreboard showed a loss, the record books were being rewritten right before our eyes. In a single night, Caitlin Clark didn't just break 1 record, she shattered 6 and added 2 more milestones to her growing resume. Let's start with a jaw-dropper. Clark just tied Courtney Vandersloot for the most 20-point, 10-assist games in league history, both now with 10. But here's the twist, Clark did it in only 42 games. Vandersloot? 394, that's not a stat, that's a statement. Clark is collapsing timelines and making legendary milestones look like routine checkboxes. 10 times. But here's the kicker, Clark achieved this in just 42 games, setting a new league record. Vandersloot needed 309. Clark also became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 350 career assists, again, in just 42 games. Ticha Penicairo, the previous record holder whose rookie mark Clark already shattered, needed 47 games back in 1999. Even Sue Bird and Teresa Weatherspoon took 56. And remember Sabrina Ionescu's 5 games with 25-plus points and 10-plus assists? Clark now owns that record too with 6, and she did it in just her second season. She also became the first player to start a season with back-to-back games of 20-plus points and 10-plus assists. Most players hope for one such game a year. Clark began her campaign with 2 straight. The league to set her mark. Clark passed her in just her second year. Here's another first in WNBA history. Clark became the very first player to start a season with back-to-back games. Clark's range of skill is what makes her lethal. She's now the only player in league history with multiple games of 25-plus points, 10-plus assists, 5-plus rebounds, and 5 three-pointers. No one else has done it more than once. Clark already has. Against the Dream, she tallied 27 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 5 threes, shooting 9 of 20 from the field and 5 of 11 from deep. And she's still climbing, now the 4th fastest to 800 career points, and tied with Chelsea Gray for 10th most double-doubles by a guard, all in a fraction of the games. Clark also hit 2 major milestones as she climbs the WNBA all-time ranks. She's now the 4th fastest player to reach 800 career points, showing how quickly she's piling up stats across the board. Plus, she tied Chelsea. What makes these feats even more remarkable is Clark's dual dominance. She's not just a passer or a scorer, she's elite at both. Her back-to-back 20-point, 10-assist performances prove this isn't a fluke. The scary truth? She's still learning. Still adjusting. Still building chemistry with teammates. When she hits her prime, the record books may not survive. One tough loss doesn't change the bigger picture. Indiana has something brewing, and the rest of the league should take notice. Still learning the league, still building chemistry with her teammates. Imagine what records will fall when she's fully comfortable and in her prime. The possibilities are endless. These individual milestones point to something much bigger brewing. Even with a 1-point heartbreak, the Fever's potential was on full display. This loss against Atlanta revealed a frightening truth. This team is close, dangerously close, to being unstoppable. When you break multiple league records in a loss, imagine what happens when the details fall into place. The problems that cost them this game, missed free throws, shaky rotations, late game execution, aren't rooted in talent. They're growing pains. And those get fixed with time. It really is. When your team breaks multiple records in a loss, imagine what they'll do once everything clicks. The contrast is clear. Clark's historic night stood alongside issues that are totally fixable. Free throws. Look at the core already showing out. Aaliyah Boston posted a dominant 24-point, 10-rebound double-double and earned praise from Coach White for her toughness in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell added 24 points and delivered the kind of leadership this young squad needs. Lexi Hall came off the bench with game-changing energy, swinging momentum back in Indiana's favor multiple times. The pieces are there. Monster performance with 24 points and 10 rebounds, earning a double-double against Atlanta. Coach White praised her outstanding effort battling the Dream's bigs. Kelsey Mitchell chipped in with 24 points of her own, showing the leader. Now consider the veteran presence still finding its rhythm. Natasha Howard, Dewana Bonner, Sydney Colson, and Brianna Turner each a key contributor. Sophie Cunningham hasn't even suited up yet due to injury. This team is still learning how to gel. But as Coach White said, I'm proud of our fight and resilience. They stuck together through every deficit, every run. They didn't fold. They battled. And that kind of culture wins games, eventually. Played yet due to injury. This is a team still figuring itself out. Coach White couldn't help but praise their grit. I'm proud of our fight and our resilience. We stayed together, we stayed engaged. That ability to claw back from double-digit deficits says a lot about their character. As White pointed out, we've fallen behind in games and stayed together.
And Caitlin have played together, so they have this synergy, and really with DB and with Tosh, like how we bring them into the fold, so to speak, and that's a challenge.
Statistically, the Fever are already worlds better than last year. More points, more assists, better three-point shooting, higher offensive efficiency. Clark said it best post-game, this gives us a chance to learn. They're building trust, communication, rhythm. Sometimes the hardest lessons fuel the strongest turnarounds. The combination of Clark's record-breaking dominance and a team hungry to grow makes Indiana the most dangerous work in progress in the league. relationships and improving communication. These painful lessons forge stronger bonds than comfortable victories ever will. What makes this team so dangerous moving forward is the mix of Clark's record-breaking talent combined with a collective hunger fueled by such a devastating loss. When the fixable issues get this game told the future. 6 records smashed. Boston and Mitchell rising. Clark redefined greatness again. And still, Coach White said the truth, we need all 5 on the same page on both ends. The talent is already elite. The chemistry is forming. And once the execution tightens? Watch out. What's coming isn't just a winning season, it's the makings of a championship culture. A fever is rising in Indiana, and it's only getting hotter. Show your support in the comments, subscribe, and hit the bell. The best is just beginning.